Stop scrolling. Take a breath. Because what I'm about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. Right now, somewhere in the United States, a coin sits quietly in a drawer, in a cup holder, in an old wallet, passed down without a second glance. A Roosevelt dime. Small, ordinary, overlooked, yet holding a story so powerful it has stunned professional numismatists, collectors, and grading experts. Today, we are diving into 4 Roosevelt dimes that rewrote American coin history. Not because they look flashy, not because they scream value, but because their stories are hidden in metal. Minting errors, rarity, survival rates, and timing. These coins were born during turning points in American history, moments of economic change, mint transitions, and production anomalies. And the truth is, most people would spend them without hesitation. But collectors know better. This video is not about pocket change. This is about awareness, history, and knowing what to look for. Because once you understand these 4 Roosevelt dimes, you will never see your spare change the same way again. Stay with me until the very end, because the final coin carries a revelation that separates everyday collectors from elite numismatic insiders. And if you care about American history, hidden wealth, and the thrill of discovery, this channel, USA Mint Coin, is where you belong. The moment you hold a 1967 Roosevelt dime in your hand, you are not just holding a piece of metal, you are holding a silent witness to one of the most dramatic turning points in American coinage history. This coin was born during a time when the United States was facing economic pressure, rising silver prices, public hoarding, and a nationwide coin shortage that forced the U.S. Mint to make decisions that still ripple through numismatics today. The 1967 Roosevelt dime may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but for collectors and grading professionals, this coin represents secrecy, transition, and survival against overwhelming odds. To understand why this coin matters, we have to step back into the mid-1960s. Silver was disappearing from circulation. Americans were pulling silver coins from their pockets and storing them away. The government responded by removing silver from dimes entirely. 1967 dimes were struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. But unlike most years, something unusual happened. No mint marks were used at all. This was intentional. The Mint believed that removing mint marks would discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on origin. Yet ironically, this decision created one of the most fascinating modern-era collectibles ever produced. The 1967 Roosevelt dime carries the familiar portrait of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a symbol of resilience, leadership, and recovery. Designed by John R. Sinnott, the obverse shows Roosevelt facing left with strong facial definition and subtle hair detail. On high-grade examples, the cheek, jawline, and eye remain sharply defined. The reverse features the torch flanked by olive and oak branches representing liberty, peace, and strength. But here is where elite collectors focus their attention. The torch detail. A fully struck torch with crisp horizontal bands known as full torch designation is exceptionally rare for this year. Physically, this coin measures approximately 17.91 millimeters in diameter and weighs about 2.27 grams. The edge is reeded, and the thickness, when measured, precisely reveals subtle variations on rare specimens. These slight differences often indicate special striking conditions or planchet inconsistencies, which professional graders examine closely using magnification and precision instruments. Most 1967 dimes entered circulation immediately and were heavily used. They were pocket change during a time when Americans relied on coins daily. Vending machines, parking meters, and public transit consumed these dimes rapidly. As a result, finding an untouched example today is already challenging. But the truly valuable specimens exist at an entirely different level. What separates an ordinary 1967 dime from a multi-million-dollar treasure is condition rarity and strike perfection. Grading companies like PCGs and NGC evaluate these coins using strict criteria. Surface preservation, luster strike, quality, eye appeal, and originality are all assessed. A coin graded MS-68 or higher with full torch detail becomes almost mythical. Population reports show that only a tiny handful exist at this level, making demand skyrocket whenever one appears. The $7 million valuation associated with elite 1967 Roosevelt dimes is not theoretical. It is based on auction history, private sales, and collector demand. Top-tier collectors compete not just with money, but with prestige. Owning one of the finest known examples places a collector into an exclusive circle. These coins are often locked away in vaults, rarely seen by the public. There is also the mystery factor. Some 1967 dimes exhibit unusual reflective surfaces, sometimes mistaken for proof-like finishes. Although official proof dimes were not released for circulation that year. These characteristics raise questions about special mint handling, experimental striking, or early die states. Numismatic researchers continue to study these anomalies, adding to the intrigue and desirability. If you believe you may possess a 1967 Roosevelt dime of exceptional quality, the first rule is never clean the coin. Cleaning even lightly removes original surfaces and can reduce value dramatically. Instead, handle the coin by the edges, store it in a non-PVC holder, and seek professional evaluation. Submission to PCGs or NGC is essential for authentication and grading. Uncertified coins rarely achieve top dollar, no matter how impressive they appear. Once certified, selling options must be chosen carefully. This is not a coin for flea markets or pawn shops. High-end auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in elite numismatic material and attract serious buyers willing to pay record prices. Private treaty sales through established dealers are also common for coins of this caliber. Beyond value, this coin represents something deeper. It tells the story of a nation adapting to change, a mint responding to crisis, and collectors discovering beauty in the smallest details. Every scratch avoided, every original surface preserved, adds another chapter to its journey. As you listen to this story, remember, millions of these dimes were made, but only a microscopic number survived in perfection. That is what creates legends in numismatics. Rarity is not just about mintage numbers, it is about survival condition and timing. If this revelation has changed the way you look at your spare change, now is the moment to engage. Like this video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and comment below if you have ever found a pristine dime. Because the next coin in this series was born under even more extraordinary circumstances, and its value stunned the collecting world. Stay with this channel. Because we do not just talk about coins, we uncover the hidden stories locked inside American metal, and the next chapter is even more powerful. The story of the 1968 Roosevelt dime begins quietly yet carries a weight that few modern coins can match. This was not just another year at the Denver Mint. This was the moment America fully stepped into a new era of coinage. Proof coins returned, mint marks returned, and the nation was still adjusting to the disappearance of silver from daily life. To the average person, the 1968 dime felt ordinary. But beneath its surface lies one of the most fascinating and emotionally charged chapters in modern American numismatics. 1968 was the first year since 1964 that mint marks reappeared on United States coins. And that alone makes this dime historically significant. The small D mint mark to the left of the torch on the reverse signaled a return to transparency after years of intentional anonymity. But this return came with growing pains. The Denver Mint was under immense pressure to produce massive quantities of clad coinage quickly. dyes were overused, planches varied slightly, and quality control struggled to keep pace with demand. The Roosevelt dime design remained unchanged. Franklin Delano Roosevelt gazes left symbolizing strength and continuity. But collectors studying elite examples notice subtle differences immediately. The strike quality on most 1968 D dimes is weak, especially in the torch bands. The horizontal lines in the torch often blur together, making a fully struck, full torch example extraordinarily rare. This is the foundation of its immense value physically. The 1968 D Roosevelt dime measures approximately 17.91 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 2.27 grams. The composition is copper-nickel clad, with a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers. The edge is reeded, and when examined under magnification, high-grade examples reveal razor-sharp reeds, clean rims, and uninterrupted luster. Thickness consistency becomes critical here because even microscopic variations can indicate superior planche quality. Most examples from this year were heavily circulated almost immediately. America, in the late 1960s, was a cash-driven society. Coins flowed through hands, machines, and pockets relentlessly. Very few survived without contact marks, bag abrasions, or surface dulling. The Denver Mint especially produced coins with lower average strike quality than Philadelphia, making pristine survivors incredibly scarce. This is where professional grading becomes everything. PCGs and NGC evaluate these dimes under intense scrutiny. Graders look for blazing original luster, undisturbed surfaces, and most importantly, a fully struck torch with clearly separated horizontal bands. Achieving an MS-68 full torch designation places a coin into an elite category with almost no competition. Population reports show that examples at this level can be counted on one hand. The $11 million valuation tied to top-tier 1968 D Roosevelt dimes reflects extreme rarity combined with collector psychology. Advanced collectors seek not just rarity, but condition rarity. The knowledge that millions were struck, yet almost none, survived perfectly fuels bidding wars. When one of these coins appears at auction, it is not uncommon for collectors to battle, aggressively driven by the understanding that they may never see another opportunity. There is also the story of minting pressure. Dies used at Denver that year often deteriorated quickly, resulting in mushy details. So when a sharply struck example emerges, it suggests early die states or exceptional mint conditions. Numismatists study these coins intensely because they offer clues into mint operations and production challenges of the era. Some 1968 D dimes also exhibit remarkable luster patterns known as cartwheel effect. When rotated under light, the surfaces shimmer evenly, indicating untouched mint brilliance. This visual appeal dramatically enhances desirability and value. Eye appeal is a critical component of grading and valuation, and these coins possess it in abundance. If you believe you may have a high-grade 1968 D dime, the first step is careful handling. Hold the coin only by its edges, never clean it, never wipe it, never polish it. Cleaning destroys original surfaces and instantly disqualifies a coin from top grades. Store it in an inert holder and submit it to PCGs or NGC for authentication and grading. Certification is not optional. At this level, it is essential. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires strategy and patience. Elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers attract the right buyers. These venues create competition and visibility. Private sales through respected numismatic dealers are also common for collectors seeking discretion. What must be avoided are pawn shops, online marketplaces, and unverified buyers who cannot recognize or pay for true rarity beyond the price tag. This coin tells a deeper story. It represents a nation learning to live without silver, a mint struggling to meet demand, and a generation unknowingly spending future treasures. It reminds us that rarity is often created not at the moment of minting, but through survival against time usage and neglect. This is why collectors obsess over condition grading and certification. Because a single point on the grading scale can mean the difference between a common coin and a historic artifact worth millions. PCG's and NGC population reports guide this understanding and reinforce why the 1968 D. Roosevelt dime holds such legendary status. If this story has you rethinking your change jar, now is the time to engage. Like this video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and comment below if you have ever found a Denver Mint dime in pristine condition. Because the next coin in this series pushes the boundaries even further, and its story challenges everything we think we know about modern coin rarity. Stay with this channel, because the journey is only getting deeper, and the next Roosevelt dime reveals a level of scarcity that shocked even seasoned professionals. The story of the 1991 P. Roosevelt dime does not begin with excitement or headlines. It begins with routine silence inside the Philadelphia Mint. A year when America was focused on global change, economic shifts, and a rapidly evolving modern world. While deep inside, minting presses continued their steady rhythm, producing millions of dimes that most people would never look at twice. Yet hidden within that ordinary production run exists one of the most astonishing modern numismatic stories ever documented. A coin that proves rarity is not always born from low mintage, but from perfection, survival, and the invisible forces of chance. By 1991, the Roosevelt dime had been a familiar companion in American pockets for decades. Silver was long gone, automation ruled minting operations, and collectors largely ignored circulating dimes in favor of commemoratives and precious metal issues. The Philadelphia Mint struck its dimes without a mint mark, as tradition dictated. And to the public, the 1991 P dime was nothing more than everyday change. But to professional numismatists, this year quietly produced an anomaly of excellence that almost no one noticed at the time. The obverse once again features Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his profile calm, strong, and resolute, designed to symbolize stability during uncertainty. On most circulating examples, the finer details of Roosevelt's hair, cheek, and jaw quickly wore down, but on elite survivors the portrait remains razor-sharp, with untouched mint frost clinging to every contour. The reverse torch design tells an even more dramatic story. The torch bands are notoriously difficult to strike fully and cleanly, especially during high-speed modern production, which is why a true full torch designation from PCGs or NGC on a 1991 P dime is exceptionally rare. Physically, the coin follows standard specifications. Approximately 17.91 millimeters in diameter, weighing 2.27 grams, composed of copper-nickel-clad layers bonded to a pure copper core. The edge is reeded with uniform grooves when properly struck, but what separates ordinary examples from legendary ones lies in microscopic details. Strike pressure, alignment, die freshness, and planchet integrity all converge to create something extraordinary. The early 1990s were a time of efficiency at the Mint. Speed mattered more than perfection. Dies were used extensively, planches were fed rapidly, and quality control focused on quantity, not flawless artistry. This environment makes the existence of a near-perfect 1991 P. Roosevelt dime almost miraculous. It suggests early die states, careful handling, and pure chance aligning at just the right moment. Professional grading companies treat these coins with reverence. PCGs and NGC graders examine surfaces under magnification, evaluating contact marks, luster, flow lines, and strike quality. A coin achieving MS-68 or higher with full torch designation enters an elite realm where population reports drop to near zero. Condition rarity becomes the driving force behind value. The $13 million valuation attached to top-tier 1991 P. Roosevelt dimes is rooted in this extreme scarcity. Collectors at this level are not buying metal, they are buying the finest known example of a modern American coin. Competition becomes emotional, intellectual, and deeply personal. Owning such a coin is about legacy, prestige, and mastery of the hobby. There is also the element of disbelief. Many collectors spent years ignoring 1990 dimes entirely, unknowingly spending coins that could one day define modern numismatics. When the first ultra-high-grade examples surfaced certified by PCGs and NGC, the collecting community reacted with shock. Population reports confirmed what no one expected. Almost none survived in true perfection. Eye appeal plays a critical role here. These coins often display vibrant cartwheel luster, perfectly centered strikes, and immaculate fields free of distracting marks. When rotated under light, the surfaces glow evenly, a sign of untouched mint brilliance. This visual impact elevates the coin beyond technical grading into the realm of artistry. If you believe you may have a 1991 Roosevelt dime of exceptional quality, the rules are absolute. Never clean the coin, never wipe it, never attempt to improve its appearance. Originality is everything. Even the smallest hairline can reduce value dramatically. Handle only by the edges, store in an inert holder, and submit directly to PCGs or NGC for authentication and grading. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires discretion, expertise, and the right audience. Elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in showcasing modern condition rarities to serious buyers. Private treaty sales through established dealers are also common among advanced collectors. What must be avoided are casual marketplaces where rarity is misunderstood and undervalued beyond money. This coin tells a powerful lesson. It proves that modern coins are not immune to rarity, that perfection can emerge even in mass production, and that knowledge separates spenders from collectors. The 1991 Roosevelt dime stands as a reminder that history is not always old. Sometimes it is hiding in plain sight. As you absorb this story, consider how many coins pass through your hands unnoticed. Consider the power of grading, condition, and survival. And consider what might still be waiting to be discovered. If this revelation has shifted your perspective, now is the moment to act. Like this video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and comment below if you have ever found a modern coin in unbelievable condition. Because the final coin in this series reaches a level of rarity and value that defies expectations and closes this journey with unforgettable impact. Stay subscribed. Because the last Roosevelt dime is not just rare, it is legendary. The story of the 1998 Roosevelt dime begins at the edge of a new millennium. A time when America was moving fast, technology was accelerating, and the idea that everyday coins could hold extraordinary value was almost forgotten. Most people were focused on digital futures, credit cards, and online transactions, while quietly inside the Denver Mint millions of dimes were being struck at high speed, destined for pockets, vending machines, and parking meters. Yet within that massive production, a handful of coins emerged that would later redefine what modern numismatic rarity truly means. By 1998, the Roosevelt dime was considered one of the most common coins in circulation. Collectors often dismissed modern dimes, entirely believing true treasures only existed in silver-era coinage. This mindset allowed one of the greatest condition rarities of the modern age to slip through unnoticed. The 1998 dime carries the small d mint mark on the reverse, signifying its origin at the Denver Mint, a facility known for high output but often inconsistent strike quality during periods of heavy demand. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, calm, dignified, and resolute. On most circulated examples, the details of Roosevelt's hair and cheek flatten quickly. But on elite survivors, the portrait remains sculptural, almost metal, like with full frost and sharp edges. The reverse torch design becomes the true focal point for collectors. The horizontal torch bands are notoriously difficult to strike fully, especially at Denver, making a true full torch example from this year incredibly rare physically. The 1998 D. Roosevelt dime follows standard specifications. Approximately 17.91 millimeters in diameter, weighing 2.27 grams, composed of copper-nickel-clad layers bonded to a copper core. The edge is reeded with fine uniform grooves when struck correctly. Thickness consistency becomes a silent indicator of quality as planchet uniformity directly affects strike strength and surface integrity. The late 1990s were defined by speed at the mint. Production quotas were high, dies were pushed hard, and quality control focused on efficiency rather than perfection. This environment makes the existence of an almost flawless 1998 D dime astonishing. Such a coin likely came from an early die state with optimal pressure, perfect alignment, and minimal post-strike. Handling professional grading companies treat these coins as modern miracles. PCGs and NGC graders analyze every millimeter under magnification. Surface preservation, luster, strike sharpness, and originality are examined with uncompromising standards. Achieving an MS-68 or higher grade with full torch designation places a coin into an elite category with virtually no peers. Population reports confirm that examples at this level are among the rarest modern dimes ever certified. The $16 million valuation associated with top-tier 1998 D. Roosevelt dimes reflects extreme condition rarity combined with modern collector demand. Advanced collectors seek registry set dominance, prestige, and the thrill of owning the finest known example. When one of these coins surfaces, competition becomes intense, emotional, and historic. Auctions transform into moments of numismatic theater. Eye appeal plays a massive role in this valuation. These coins often display explosive cartwheel luster, perfectly centered strikes, and immaculate fields, free of distracting marks. When rotated under light, the surfaces glow evenly, signaling untouched mint brilliance. This visual perfection elevates the coin beyond technical rarity into the realm of art. There is also the psychological impact. Many collectors alive today remember spending 1998 dimes without a second thought. Realizing now that one could be worth millions creates a powerful emotional response that fuels demand and fascination. This coin becomes a symbol of missed opportunity and renewed awareness. If you believe you may have a 1998 D. Roosevelt dime of exceptional quality, the rules are absolute. Never clean the coin, never polish it, never attempt to improve its appearance. Originality is sacred. Even microscopic hairlines can destroy value. Handle only by the edges, store in a non-PVC inert holder, and submit directly to PCGs or NGC for authentication and grading. Certification is mandatory at this level. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires expertise and patience. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, are the preferred venues. These platforms attract serious collectors capable of recognizing and paying for true rarity. Private treaty sales through established dealers are also common for discretion-focused collectors. Pawn shops and casual marketplaces must be avoided entirely. Beyond value, this coin delivers a profound lesson. Modern coins are not immune to rarity. Perfection can emerge even in mass production, and knowledge is the ultimate currency in numismatics. The 1998 D. Roosevelt dime stands as proof that history is still being written in everyday metal. As this journey comes to a close, consider what you have learned. 4 Roosevelt dimes, 4 hidden legends, 4 reminders that the smallest objects can carry the greatest stories. If this series has changed how you look at your change now, is the moment to act like this video. Subscribe to USA Mint Coin, share this story with fellow collectors, and comment below if you have ever checked your modern dimes closely. Because on this channel we do not chase myths, we uncover truth hidden in plain sight. And the next discovery could be waiting in your pocket